Hey guys, welcome back to my channel once again. Today is a very exciting video because it's a very exciting time of year. It's that time of year where the leaves start to turn, the weather starts to get a little cold, you can put on a hoodie and be comfortable outside, and it's just, to me, the best time of year. That's fall, that's Halloween. I figure it might be a little early even though it's still September, but if people can start celebrating Christmas in November, then why not start counting down to Halloween in mid to late September. So today I want to go through 5 books that are perfect for the Halloween season. If you're like me, I like to read novels that kind of go with the time of year, or maybe go with what's going on in your life right now to kind of add to the effect of the novel. So right now I'm going to take you through 5 novels that are perfect to read during October and the Halloween season. Once again, guys, before we get into it, if you love reading, if you love horror novels especially, hit me with a subscribe and leave a comment below. I'd love to get the conversation started. Leading it off, I want to start with a debut novel by a up-and-coming author by the name of Ethan Blake. It is called Into the Hollow. Firstly, Ethan was nice enough to hit me up and send me a copy of this to read and review. And I have to say, as a horror novel lover, and I've read a lot of horror novels in my time, this is the real deal. It really is. It's short and sweet. It's only 167 pages, but to be honest with you, it felt like a lot longer. He did a great job building up the atmosphere, developing the characters and everything like that. It is a novel that doesn't really hold a lot back. No character is safe, let's just put it that way. Basically, plot-wise, it's a novel of the occult. It follows a bunch of seniors in high school the night before Halloween, and they decide, after hearing a ghost story, an old myth or folk tale from one of the fathers of the group, they decide to go out and explore the woods and everything like that, the surroundings based around this story. Sure enough, it turns out the story is a lot more real than just a campfire tale. And next thing they know, they're in the middle of this crazy battle with some ancient evil spirits. That's basically summing it up. Like I said, the novel doesn't really hold anything back. It can be a little gory at times. It can be a little disturbing, but to me, that's what horror is all about. And this novel has everything that you want in a horror novel. I'm going to leave the link to both the Canadian Amazon page and the American Amazon page linked below. I believe the American will be first with the Canadian below it. This will be both 2 pages to purchase this novel. Ethan is a very good writer, and I'm not just saying that. I encourage you all to check this one out for yourself. Like I said, you can get through it pretty quick because it is addicting. I couldn't put this one down. And let's support some up-and-coming authors. Next up, I want to go to a classic, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. This is great to read during the Halloween season. It's so well done. If I could use the term beautiful for a horror novel, that would be it with this one. It truly was a beautiful novel. It was so well written. It just blows my mind that this could be written in the late 1800s. It's kind of like a time capsule, reading it back and just thinking to yourself that the person who wrote this lived in that time. Overall, it's such a great story that opens up so much food for thought. You think the Frankenstein story and the Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster until you read the original and you really read the source material and see where it's coming from. I just thought it's a masterpiece. I thought it was so well done. You empathize with Frankenstein's monster. You hate him at times. You really empathize with Frankenstein himself, how he created Frankenstein. And so, even though he was murdering other people, he took the blame for that, and the blood was on his hands. It was just really interesting to read from all these different characters' points of view in that regard. Like I said, this is just a really good novel, and I think anyone who's willing to get in touch with some of the classics of the genre should check this one out for sure. Transitioning from Frankenstein, I moved to Ghost Story by Peter Straub. This one, it's fitting actually, because this, I believe, paid homage to some of the classics, especially Turn of the Screw. It had a very Turn of the Screw feel to it, certain elements of it. So basically, it's about a group of older gentlemen who always get together to tell ghost stories, aptly named, and they have a bit of a checkered past. They experienced a group traumatic experience with way back in the day when they were younger gentlemen with a certain girl. And it turns out, I'm trying my best to explain it without giving much away. Basically, long story short, they're doing battle in a sense with an ancient evil. This girl, this evil, I say girl, it's just a form that the evil takes, can inhabit so many different forms. I'm sorry if I'm butchering this explanation. It was just, there was a lot to it, and I'm trying my best to get it out to you. So yeah, they've been haunted for their whole lives, a group of them, and it's the connection that they have together is this evil spirit who basically it was one of many. Actually, a good way to describe it, if you've read The Outsider by Stephen King, the spirit in this reminded me a lot of the entity from The Outsider. It really did. Basically feeding off of other people's misery and sorrow and thinking that they are this eternal, unbeatable entity that looks at human beings as just ants, that we're nothing compared to them. And they just love to watch us squirm, basically. So in a nutshell, that's what it's about. It's very well written. This is my first Peter Straub solo story that I've read, other than The Talisman and Black House, that he co-wrote with Stephen King, and it was really good, really well done. A little bit slow off the hop and a little bit confusing, but it's one of those things where you just stick with it and everything will sort itself out and you'll understand. But yeah, really creepy novel, a good one here to read during the Halloween season. Next up is I Am Behind You by Ajvide Lindqvist. I'm not sure if the pronunciation on his middle name is correct there, but it's close enough. They call this guy the Swedish Stephen King, so I just had to check him out. He's the same author that wrote Let the Right One In. I believe that is his most famous novel. I haven't read that one, but I've heard great things. This one, on the other hand, it had a little bit of like a Twilight Zone type thing going on, where a group of campers wake up one morning and they're not really at their campsite anymore. Their RVs are, still together, but all around them is just nothing but barren field. And it's pretty weird. Like, they don't know what's going on. They don't really know where they are. All this weird stuff starts happening. Basically, they all start experiencing the experience in different ways. Like, they think they're hallucinating. So like one person is going to see like his dead father, and another person is going to see something else, and so on and so forth. It's basically like they're experiencing their own different, kind of like reminded me of like an acid trip, basically. So what it's very confusing, number one. They keep basically throwing stuff in front of you, and it doesn't really get wrapped up. So that was kind of frustrating to me, but overall it was a good read. It kind of kept you enticed because you were so confused half the time. That's the best way to put it. I think they did allude to what was going on at the end, but it was pretty tough to pick up. I've heard there is a sequel to this that kind of does explain it in a way. It's more of a prequel, but it kind of does, open things up a little bit and explain a little bit of it. So I'm going to check that out. I haven't read it yet, but overall, it is a creepy novel in the sense of, it was just confusing and really weird. Like I said, the best comparison is like a Twilight Zone episode. So if you're into weird stuff like that, then this is the one to check out. And we're going to finish up with Midnight by Dean Koontz. I try and read one Dean Koontz book a month to try and make my way through it. This is, I believe, the 5th one I've read by him. This one was actually really good. Usually it follows the same lines of most of his novels. It kind of takes place in a sequence of events, like over 24 to 36 hours. It usually doesn't jump around. So this one basically is about a town that starts to, there's an evil genius, once again, surprise, surprise, with a Dean Koontz novel, who decides to he tells people that, he's kind of injecting them with like a pathogen that's going to make them evolve. So like make them like evolve to the next level of humanity. Sure enough, everything goes wrong. They end up devolving and they become like animals. All they cared about was, you know, mating, eating, and the most simplistic urges, basically. So it follows a group of individuals that don't end up getting this injection, and they kind of have to survive a night in this town as everything starts to hit the fan. And you know, in true Dean Koontz fashion, it's a typical Koontz novel, but it is good. It was really entertaining. Couldn't really put this one down. I got through it pretty quick. So yeah, I suggest checking this one out for any Dean Koontz lovers out there that haven't necessarily seen it. Once again, thanks for checking out my video, and happy Halloween, and we'll talk to you guys soon.